I am going to show you step by step how I like to use the Expodisc with flash to set my exposure and white balance. My name is Kelly Hoagland and I'm a photographer near Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I love using flash during my indoor and in-home sessions, and I want to help you learn to do that as well. So if you're new to flash photography, just take a minute and snoop around on my YouTube channel a little bit. I've already recorded several videos, which will hopefully help you get started. And do subscribe as well if you haven't already. If you are looking for step-by-step instructions when it comes to getting started with flash, so how to set up your lights, how to dial in settings, how to choose flash power, then I do highly recommend that you check out my full in-home flash photography course. It is specifically geared towards in-home photographers who do family and newborn sessions, but it's honestly the setup that I also use with branding photos as well. So if you're regularly shooting indoor, then I do think that you would benefit. So I will link information about that course below this video. Today, I'm going to show you how I use the Expodisc. So if you saw my last video, I actually demonstrated just a very simple technique for modifying your on-camera flash, which is bouncing it kind of behind you and off of a white ceiling. That's just an easy place to get started before you start investing in a bunch of light stands and modifiers. So I did kind of a quick impromptu photo shoot with my youngest daughter, actually in this space. So I had her against this wall sitting on a bench, and as you can see, there is a window over here, but like today, I feel like we've had super overcast weather recently. It's going to be storming and raining off and on all day long. And I was also photographing her early in the morning, so the sun was actually on the opposite side of the house. So the light in the space just really was not great, and therefore I wanted to bounce flash to just kind of better illuminate her. So I did use the Expodisc to set my exposure settings and then also my white balance. So in this video, I'm going to slow it down and show you step by step my process for doing that. But currently I have a light on me because it's so dark today, but that's going to kind of throw off my demonstration. So forgive me, I'm about to go turn this off, so the video quality probably won't be quite as good, as well lit, but I do want to show you accurately how I use the Expodisc to set my flash power and white balance. Okay, so my video light is off. When using the Expodisc, it is important to keep in mind that it is an incident light meter, which means that it is meant to measure the light that is hitting your subject rather than the light that is bouncing off of your subject. So when you're using it, even with natural light, which I have another video where it shows step by step how I use the Expodisc with natural light that I'll also link below. When you're using a natural light, you want to place yourself in the position where your subject will be and point your camera back towards where you will be to take the photos. And since I had my daughter on this bench right here, I will be standing right here. I took the photo from over here, so I'll point my camera back in that direction and I will cover the lens with the Expodisc. Now, in terms of the flash, when I was using it over here, my goal was to have it pointed backwards and kind of turned to this side so that it was bouncing off of the ceiling, pretty much like right above the window, just to kind of imitate the light coming in through the window. So when I'm over here though, measuring the light, I actually have to flip the flash head so that it's in the opposite direction. So again, I'm aiming my flash head towards the ceiling and kind of more at an angle, like at that corner, so that it's mimicking the light coming in through the window. So from here, I'm going to cover my Expodisc. And first we want to figure out our exposure. So for her, I did keep my shutter speed at 1/200. Flash does help stop movement, like freeze movement, but she's also 4, and so she moves around a lot. And so I kind of kept it at the higher end of the shutter sync speed for my flash. So I can go up to 1/250 with flash with this camera, unless I use high sync, but that's a whole other subject. So let's say I kept it at 1/200. Let's say, I think I had my aperture at 4.0. Let's start with an ISO of 640 because it is kind of dark. And then in terms of flash power, I do have my Godox V1 set in manual mode. I'm going to start at 1/32. I usually start when I'm testing light around 1/32 or 1/64 because it's kind of a middle ground, and I really want to use the least amount of flash power as possible in order for it to look fairly soft and natural. Okay, so with all of that dialed in, I'm covering my lens, I have my flash pointed in the opposite direction of, well, really pointed towards where it's going to be bouncing. So I'm going to hold down the shutter and take an image. Okay. And so when I pull it up, which hopefully this will focus on my camera instead of me, you'll see when I push the replay button, it's just like a gray screen. But on the Sony a7 III, actually, sorry, this is the a7 IV, I can hit right here at the top of the wheel where it says display. I'm going to hit it twice, and it pulls up the histogram. So you see this box over here. Do you see how there's somewhat of a straight line here? If it's to the left, that means your image is overexposed. If it's to the right, it's overexposed. This is slightly underexposed, which is not the worst thing in the world, but I do like to try to get it as close to center as possible. So let me try this one more time. So I could, in theory, I could bump up my ISO if I wanted to. I think instead I'm going to bump up my flash power. So I'm going to hit the plus minus, and I have a feeling that if I go to 1/16, it's going to be too much. So I'm actually just going to turn the dial and do some partial stops. So I think I'll take it to 1/32 plus 0.5. Let's try it one more time. Let's take a picture. Sometimes you have to kind of hold it down for a moment. Okay, there we go. So let me pull up the histogram again. As you can see, that's pretty dead center when it comes to that straight line. Again, I'm not concerned so much about the curve. It's more the straight line that I want to have in the center of the histogram. So I like that. So from here, I will next go ahead and set my white balance, which let me just actually zoom back in again or give you a close up. So I actually have C1 set for white balance, but you can also hit the function button, which I already had it set on white balance. This is the white balance window right here. And if you've never set a custom white balance before, it will probably be all the way up here at the top to AWB, which is auto white balance. But if you turn the wheel, you can come down to these custom options. There's 1, 2, and 3, and I usually just pick one, it doesn't really matter. But I push the right side of the wheel so that set is highlighted. And if you click set again, it's ready to take a white balance reading. So again, I'm coming back over here to where my subject will be. I'm going to hit enter again when the flash fires. And now you can see it has set a custom white balance. If I hit the center button again, it's ready to go. So from here, I would probably still take like a quick test shot to make sure that I do like the look of the light like on the back of my camera, and I might make some like tiny tweaks. Like I might bump it up or bump it down just a little bit based on kind of what I'm seeing on the back of my camera. But in general, I find that this method is pretty accurate, and I love it because I'm already using the Expodisc for my natural light photos, and so I feel like it makes everything pretty consistent across the board. You can also use an incident light meter like a Sekonic, but because I already have this and it's so small and I'm bringing it anyways, usually to my sessions, I found it easier just to go ahead and incorporate the Expodisc with my flash photography. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you do have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments box below. And if you are determined to learn Flash this year and start using it for your indoor sessions, I do recommend that you check out my full in-home Flash photography course. Thank you so much for watching.